Boruto Next Generations, or Boruto Part 1 as some like to call it, has a total of 6 arcs. Versus Momoshiki arc, Mujina Bandits, Ao arc, Kawaki arc, Code's Assault arc, and Omnipotence arc. Like with everything, some are better than others while some are worse. In today's video, I'll be doing a complete reread of the worst arc in the series, the Mujina Bandits arc. This is the second arc in the manga, and unfortunately for it, it directly comes after the Momoshiki arc, which is a banger of an introduction and opening to the series. Then it falls very low with this arc, which might be why it's so hated and despised, even though it does have a redeeming quality or two. This is a very short arc, being chapters 11 to 15, so not too much actual content within it, but let's get straight to it. The main premise of this arc is, there's these bandits who have been robbing villages and infiltrating the Leaf, so Team 7 go to capture them and get all but the boss, so he's still alive somewhere in the Leaf. The boss, by the way, is in the bingo book and he's able to copy the appearance, voice, and memories of those he eats and transforms into. During this, the Fire Daimyo comes to the village for a meeting with Naruto and leaves his son under the watch of Boruto. Boruto at this point is obsessed with these ninja cards, kind of like Pokemon cards, but they have all these different shinobi like Orochimaru and Naruto on them. This is important later, so remember that. The Daimyo's kid, Tento, dreams of becoming a shinobi, but his father won't let him and he craves his father's attention, which he never gets. So instead, his dad gives him a credit card to buy whatever he wants as a way to show affection towards him because, you know, he's rich, he's the president of the land of fire, he's loaded, that type of deal. Typical rich father spoiled kid stuff. While watching Tento, Boruto decides to teach him how to throw a shuriken because he felt bad for the kid, and that's how they spend their time up until the daimyo's butler finds them and takes Tento back to their hotel. Some time passes and Boruto realizes that Tento snuck one of those ninja Pokemon cards into his jacket pocket, so Boruto, being all high and mighty, learning from his previous mistakes and wanting to earn things by himself, sneaks into the hotel where Tento is staying to return the card. While on the balcony, Boruto overhears a conversation about how the Mujina bandits kidnapped the kid and is holding him ransom for 500 million Naruto bucks, and where the trade-off would be located. Boruto, being Boruto, dashes and tells Sarada, "Hey buddy, I gotta skip on our B-rank mission everyone was hyped for to take care of some secret business, you feel me?" Then goes to where Tento is held captive. It was then revealed that the butler was actually the Mujina boss using his copycat jutsu. Whoa, big twist there. Then the fight between the Mujina gang, Tento, and Boruto commences. Boruto and Tento lose the fight because the karma acts up, but they were saved by Sarada and Mitsuki at the last second to save the day. Tento goes back to his father, everyone says thank you, and that's it for them. In comes the goat Sasuke though to interrogate the Mujina boss because he mentioned something about the curse mark to Boruto, but all he knew was that they called themselves Kara. The page flips and we get to see for the first time all of the Kara inners in that weird dimension they hang out in. The arc ends there. Before I reread this arc, I hated it with a passion. I thought there were zero redeeming qualities about it. I thought it was a waste of 5 chapters. I thought you could completely skip this arc without missing anything important and could continue on in the story and not be losing out on information. I thought it was awful, and let me explain why. For starters, this whole arc revolves around this spoiled kid Tento who quite literally is useless towards the story. I'm sorry for any Tento fans out there. He doesn't do anything for the story in terms of moving the plot or adding anything special to the arc itself. The character is lame, and this is only amplified if you watch the anime because he is almost as unbearable as Chocho, but back to the manga. He is just such a bare bones rich kid type character that I personally dislike. He's introduced for this arc and this arc only, never being mentioned again. Then the actual villains of this arc, the Mujina bandits, are all fodder characters except their boss, who is in the bingo book with an actual unique ability that has potential to cause mass havoc, but it's being wielded by someone who lost a base start of series kid Boruto. The dude sucks. Put Zabuza against Boruto and it's a mismatch, there'd be no third arc. These 5 chapters, honest to god, felt like filler. I won't lie, when I was first watching in the anime, I thought it was filler, but to my disappointment when I started reading the manga and I saw Tento, I actually got pissed. The very little important details in this arc, so the last 2 pages of the final chapter could have easily been thrown into the following arc as it was all set up for it, so it wasn't even too needed. I even made a short where I basically said to skip this arc in its entirety because it's useless to the story. That's how I felt before. Now, after rereading it a couple times, has my opinion changed on it? Well, slightly. I still dislike Tento. Rereading this made me hate him slightly less because I'll be honest, the anime is what gave him such a sour taste in my head, so whenever I was first reading this, all I could think about was that. But now he's not too bad and annoying, but still not an insanely likable character or anything, don't get me wrong. I could easily still live without having him in the manga, but you know, what can you do? The Mujina boss is just obnoxious. I get you're supposed to dislike him and you're not supposed to like him, I get that. But like, come on, he's so whack, man. They could have easily done so much more with him if they were to remake this arc from scratch so it's actually interesting, but they just didn't. It felt like such a wasted opportunity with the ability in jutsu. Plus his color is ugly. The swamp green or leaf green screen, whatever, is disgusting. But I feel like I have to address the elephant in the room here, which is both Boruto's character development in this arc and the Kara information in the arc. These are the two things that everyone was yelling at me in the comments on why this arc was so needed and important towards the story, and why it's not bad and can't be skipped. So let me respond to that. Boruto's character development is this. He meets this kid who craves his father's attention because he's always busy and he's never around, so Boruto sees his past self within the kid and decides to help him. But Boruto declines the card because he wants to get stuff using his own strength and by himself. That's it. Now hear me out here. Both of these issues with Boruto craving his father's attention and wanting to gain stuff with his own strength so he isn't taking the easy way out were both done in the first arc of the manga. So this whole extra bit from this arc isn't even needed. Boruto got over his father issues during the Momoshiki fight when he learned to respect his father and actually see how much he's trained and how hard he works to keep everyone safe, and just the sheer power and some of his past memories and mentors when he was forming the giant Rasengan with him. Obviously from this he's not going to be alright and fine with never seeing his dad, but this was development for both Naruto and Boruto in a way. Then for the working to get stuff himself, this is clear as day already with the ninja gauntlet cheating in the exams and also by the game he used to cheat at. Firstly, he realized his mistake of cheating, and by listening to Naruto talking about what's true power and what's not towards Momoshiki being exposed in front of everyone, and then also by the big Rasengan I mentioned earlier, is all affecting Boruto's character. And by the end of this arc, and even in the middle of the arc, when Boruto comes out of the hospital still wearing the ninja tool, he flings it off in disgust and even looks disappointed in himself that he would even use it to begin with. Even after Momoshiki is defeated and their family is having dinner and Boruto is playing his game, he gets stuck on a level needing to level up, and instead of cheating to max out his character like he used to, he decides not to. Once again, further saying he's grown out of that poor mentality and lapse of judgment that led him to cheating and taking the easy way out to begin with. The last thing this arc is redeemed by is the Kara introduction during the final few pages of the chapter, which I won't lie, yeah, obviously that's important. You learn what their name is, and it's the first time you see all the Kara inners together inside of the dimension. But there's no way you're gonna tell me that they couldn't have just held off on that introduction and sprung it onto us in the next arc, which by the way is all about Kara. All that was told to us from these few pages is that their name is Kara, and the karma is not the same as Orochimaru's curse mark. They could have just not had this at the end of the Mujina arc and instead pushed it to the next one, because that's literally the one where the container ship crashes and they get the information out of it anyways. It just doesn't really make too much sense to say this is the saving grace for this lackluster arc in my opinion. How did my opinions on this arc change then? Well, I don't think it's completely skippable and you should just move past it without glossing through it. Should you read it at least once? Yes, only because you get to see Sasuke and the little Kara information and see all the inners and Jigen for the first time. Other than those pages though, I'd say the rest could be skipped for sure. Overall, I'll still stand on these pages should have been pushed to the next chapter and this whole arc should be scrapped, but that's just me, and this should in no way be a hot take or controversial one. Maybe I'm reading wrong though. Hey, I'm close to 1,000 subscribers and I'm trying to get there pretty quick. I'd appreciate any help towards that goal. Let me know what your favorite Boruto arcs were or what your least favorite arc is. I know there's going to be some interesting ones thrown out and I can't wait to see it. Have a good day.